Hi everyone, I am Hans Adrian Aralansangan. I am a grade 9 student of Paitan Sur National High School. So today I will be discussing is all about the four variations in grade 9 mathematics. So are you familiar with four variations in grade 9 mathematics? So these four variations, this is the second quarter lesson of a grade 9 students. So today I will be defining what is a variation. So variation is a relation between a set of values with one variable and a set of values with other variable. So if you're interested to learn what is the four variations, you can watch the whole video. The first variation in the four variations is the direct variations. So are you familiar with direct variations? So I'm gonna give you an example so that you will be having a clue or idea what is a direct variation. So direct variation have two quantities. So that two quantities are both increasing. So the best example here is when you're using your electricity, a high power consumption, so there is a possibility that your electricity bill will be high. So what did you notice? So they are both increasing. So the two quantities are both increasing in direct variation. So direct variation is a type of proportionality in which one quantity directly varies with respect to a change in another quantity by the same factor. So I think you know what is a direct variation. So direct variation have a general equation or formula, and this is the y is equals to kx. So the general formula or equation of the direct variation is the y is equals to kx. So the k I use is a constant of variation. So I have here a sentence. So I'm gonna translate it on a mathematical sentence. And I'm gonna using the k as the constant of variation. So we have here the the cost C of fish varies directly as its weight W in kilograms. So if I'm gonna write it on a mathematical sentence, it will gonna be a C is equals to K. I'm gonna use the K as a constant operation W. So the mathematical sentence in this equation will be C is equals to KW. So that is what we call direct variations. The second variation in the four variations in grade 9 mathematics is the inverse variation. So are you familiar with inverse variation? So I will give you an example so that you will be having an idea or clue what is inverse variation. So inverse variation have two quantities. So that two quantities is increasing and decreasing. The best example here is the speed of car increases and the time to take it to reach the destination is decreases. So I think you have an idea what is the inverse variation. So today I will be define what is inverse variation. So inverse variation establishes a proportionality between two quantities that follow an inverse relationship. So do you know that inverse variation have a general equation or formula? And this is the y is equals to k over x. So I use the k as the constant of value. So today I have here a sentence and I will translate it on a mathematical sentence. So I will using the k as a constant of value. So the number of petri plants and in a row varies inversely as the space s between them. So if I translate it on a mathematical sentence, it will be n is equals to k over s. So what did you notice? The k is I use the k as a constant of value. So this is now the mathematical sentence in inverse variation. So I hope you understand what is inverse variation. After the two variations, we will now proceeding on the third variation. So the third variation in grade in mathematics is the joint variation. So are you familiar with the joint variation? So if you're not familiar, I'm gonna define what is a joint variation. So joint variation describes a situation where one variable depends on two or more other variables and varies directly as each of them when the others are held constant. So that is what you call joint variation. So in joint variation, we also have a general equation. So the general equation of joint variation is the y is equals to k x z. So this is the general equation or formula of joint variation. So I have here a sentence. So I will translate this on a mathematical sentence. So the sentence is the area A, capital A, of a triangle varies jointly as the base B and the altitude h. So if I will write it on a mathematical sentence, it will be A is equals to, write the K as the constant of value or variation. A is equals to K, B, H. So this is the mathematical sentence in this equation. So I think you understand now what is a joint variation. After the direct, inverse, and joint variation, we will now proceeding on the last variation in grade 9 mathematics. So the last variation in grade 9 mathematics is called combined variation. So are you familiar with combined variation? If you're not familiar with it, I will be defining what is a combined variation. So in grade 9 mathematics, combined variation describes a situation where a variable depends on two or more other variables and varies directly with some of them and varies inversely with others. So that is what you call combined variation. So combined variation is also have a general equation. So that general equation will be z is equals to k x over y. So this is the general equation or formula of combined variation. So I have here a sentence. So I will translate it on to mathematical statement or a sentence. So the time t required to travel is directly proportional to the temperature, capital T, and inversely proportional to the pressure, capital P. So if I will write it on mathematical statement, it will be E is equals to K as a constant of variation or value. T is equals to K, capital T, inversely proportional to the pressure over capital P. So this is the mathematical statement in this sentence. So P is equals to K, capital T over P. So that is all for today. And that is what you call combined variation. So we are done in discussing the four variations in grade 9 mathematics. So I hope you learned so much in this topic